Welcome to our next From Months to Minutes demo series. If you're joining us for the first time, we also have an Introduction to Student Success Analytics Cloud and other module demos for you to view on demand. Whether you've seen the introduction video or not, we want to remind you of these three key messages. New higher ed systems and growing prevalence of cloud systems has brought a data integration nightmare to institutions. No longer is there as much of one central system as there used to be. This makes it much more difficult to view data in one place and analyze it comprehensively for greater understanding and better informed decision-making. Our integrated cloud platform design solves that problem by bringing the data together in one place, letting you start small and grow. Instead of buying analytics from each software or cloud systems provider, which is always limited only to their data and they don't talk to each other, our solution provides you with the entire lifecycle of data in one integrated view. Think of it like unbundled cable and now having 5 or 6 different streaming services, and all of the costs and problems finding the show you want or getting an accurate recommendation based on your viewing habits, since none of it is in one place. Rather, it's like going back to bundled cable, where all of your content is in one place, easy to find and use. Analytics must serve multiple audiences to be useful. We have high-level summary dashboards providing status and progress on key metrics that are aligned with strategic plans that leadership cares about. And it must also be useful for departmental users by supporting functional and operational processes so they can do their jobs better. Lastly, it must be secure and easy to implement with minimal impact on IT. They are already overwhelmed and would prefer less to worry about, not more. With our implementation methodology, we manage all of the infrastructure. Better yet, instead of us dumping the work of getting the data from systems onto the IT team, we flip the script and provide you with the queries to run. We know what data is needed and where it lives in the various systems. When you have new data definitions or metrics, for example, underserved student, a cohort, or an admissions territory, or your CRM or student information system provider makes data structure changes, we give you the updated queries you need to run using our Cloud Data Connector tool. Here are some of the capabilities that we will highlight in the demo today to help you understand how the solution works and how it supports your operational and strategic goals. There are many other business questions that can be answered from the data and the dashboards you'll see. These are just a few possibilities that we will highlight. As my colleague Heather prepares the demo, be aware for security reasons, this is not real client or institutional data. It is, however, representative of a realistic use of the dashboards. Furthermore, you will see code values or filters that are named differently than what you might have in your system or what you might want to implement. We address these names and definitions during the implementation process, so it's tailored to your specific analytical requirements and goals. Heather?
We will start with an overview of our strategic dashboard for admissions, and then move on to a demonstration of our operational dashboard. This dashboard is targeted to focus on the most important strategic objectives at your institution. It is important to note that while this system is built on a standard infrastructure, GCOM will work with your institution to tailor the dashboards and areas of focus to match your strategic directives. The admissions dashboard uses point-in-time comparisons to provide insight into your current progress toward admissions goals and to display trends in your data over time. On the left side of the screen, you will see key performance indicators focused on the current application year with a comparison to the prior year. Going across each section, we have 3-year trends over time and breakdowns of the current year in certain areas of focus. The dashboard is broken into 3 key areas: process and productivity, market and yield, and access and diversity. The process and productivity panel focuses on metrics of application volume and processing in your admissions office. Metrics illustrate both completed applications and applications that are still in the pipeline. Using the filters across the top, you could focus on a region or program of interest to analyze productivity and staffing needs. As you review applications that are pending completion, you may decide to reach out to your admissions application to take action to nudge applicants stuck in a stage. Reviewing incomplete items, you may identify requirements that could be changed to remove barriers to application completion. We are showing a set of sample metrics here, but there are other possible charts that you may choose from our library of metrics. For example, if it is more important to understand the timing in phases than the proportion of students stuck in a phase, because closing that time gap and improving services is an important part of processing, we could swap out the pending chart with a different view of the processing focused on time. The market and yield panel illustrates our sources for applicants and focuses on our rates of converting applicants to students. These metrics help analyze markets that drive applications and align efforts to increase yield. If your institution has specific registration goals, we can integrate those into the dashboard to help you monitor progress. The 3-year trend of students from high school service areas and county breakdown can help you understand the impact of different recruiting initiatives on your application volume and yield. The Access and Diversity section is tailored to focus on your institution's strategic equity and inclusion priorities. You can monitor progress toward enrollment goals for underrepresented groups and view trends in your incoming student population. For example, our breakdown of incoming students by ethnic group uses color to show the % change in applications from the prior year. We can see that while applications are increasing for all ethnic groups, we're seeing a large percentage increase from the prior year for American Indian and Alaskan Natives, compared with a smaller increase in Black and African American students. You can use insights from these metrics to plan outreach efforts focused on underserved populations. The dashboard is configured with filters across the top that let you focus on different college areas and groups of students. For example, if you receive a request from your health sciences dean, you can focus in on their area and share the view of the data with that dean. When viewing the strategic dashboard, you may have specific questions or find areas where you want staff to take action. Perhaps the yield is down or you have not met your registration goal. You can direct those questions to the operational team in admissions to answer with their more detailed operational dashboard. The operational dashboard, which we will view next, allows staff to take action and focus on student-level admissions data. Now we will move on to an overview of the operational dashboard for admissions. Planning successful recruitment efforts requires analyzing data from multiple sources. The SSA Cloud Admissions Dashboard supports admissions leaders and recruitment staff by consolidating information about prospects, application processing, events, feeder schools, territories, enrollment, and fraud into a single analytic tool. This dashboard provides detail into the admissions process and has many interactive capabilities to analyze data for planning and to drill into groups of students to take action with the data. The summary dashboard contains a high-level set of metrics and visualizations, providing an overview of the 3 main parts of the admissions cycle: recruiting, processing, and enrollment. In addition to the current year values across the top, each with a rate of change or comparison to the prior year, there are 3 years of data provided for comparison and monitoring progress below the key metrics. The dashboard uses point-in-time comparisons to compare application metrics at the same point in the admissions cycle year over year. The bottom section of the dashboard focuses on attributes and goals for the current application year, and it includes an analysis of weekly application and registration trends over time. Using the filters across the top, admissions leaders can focus on populations of interest, such as first-time students or transfers. The dashboard can also be filtered by territory or recruiter to provide views for individual staff members to monitor their assigned populations of students. From the recruiting pipeline section of the summary dashboard, we can see that application counts were up 9% in 2022. To plan 2023 recruitment activities, admissions leaders need to understand the sources of that growth to build on successful staff efforts. The dashboard includes analytical pages to help admissions leaders monitor and understand trends from feeder schools, the application pipeline, and incoming student populations. These pages support the recruitment planning process for upcoming terms and help admissions leaders understand trends in their data. The high school summary page allows admissions leaders to analyze trends in applications and yield at different stages of the funnel. On the left, we can see our top feeder schools with a % change in applications from the prior year. The 3-year trends in total applications by recent high school graduation status help us understand the makeup of our applicant pool. The table on the right provides detailed data about changes in application volume from year to year and shows a 3-year trend in yield rates. The data in the table can be summarized by territory area or expanded to show high school level detail. Based on the type of analysis, the charts and table can be controlled to show data for each stage of the admissions funnel. For example, to identify high schools with the largest % change in registered students between 21 and 22, we can change our selected funnel stage from applied to registered. Schools with an increase of more than 25% are shown in green. We can see Apache High School had a large increase in registered students and has a high yield rate. We may want to review the strategies and events used at this school to build from this success for future high school recruitment efforts. When working with the transfer student population, admissions leaders can use the feeder colleges summary to analyze markets for transfer students. If we're seeing an increase in the number of transfer students from particular schools, we can work with other areas of the college to enhance articulation agreements to strengthen partnerships to recruit additional students. The funnel analysis page helps admissions leaders identify trends in the admissions pipeline stages for the prior 3 years, focusing on strategic populations of interest for the institution. As part of the implementation, GCOM works with each institution to identify key phases in the admissions funnel and strategic student populations. You can use filters across the top to view the funnel trends for a specific population in the charts, or select the attribute of interest to compare the funnel trends for different populations in the table. For example, we may wish to focus on our non-traditional students who are not recent high school grads. After seeing a dip in the percentage of these students registering in 2021, admissions staff increased outreach to this group in 2022. Now we can see the impact of these outreach efforts. We see that the percentage of students registering has increased compared to last year for this group of students. The student analysis page provides insights into trends in the applicant pool and allows the admissions team to easily report on the applicant profile. The page is divided into 3 key areas for tracking the breakdown of the applicant pool by student populations, academic metrics, and application programs. Controls across the top provide the flexibility to select the funnel stage, populations, and test scores appropriate for the analysis. GCOM will configure the key funnel stages, populations, and test types for your institution during the implementation. The charts on this page are linked for additional analytic capabilities. For example, clicking on the out-of-state category in the chart filters the rest of the page to show a profile for the out-of-state applicants. If you wanted to report on the incoming first-time student population, you could switch the student attribute to admit type and then select the first-time category to filter the dashboard charts to provide key metrics for that population. One of the most important interactive capabilities of the operational dashboard tool is the ability to drill to details to explore areas of interest and the specific students that make up the identified populations. The dashboard has detailed pages for students, incomplete checklist items, and events. You can access the detailed pages by drilling in from a visualization, on the main summary or analysis pages, or by navigating directly to the page from the navigation bar. Admissions leaders may use the drill to details workflow to gain additional understanding of the trends they are seeing in the data. Admissions recruiters can use the same dashboard filtered to their territory to target their outreach efforts. Let's view the dashboard from the perspective of a recruiter. The summary page serves as a launchpad that allows admissions staff to quickly identify students to target for outreach. One scenario that came out with our client institutions was targeting populations of students who are stuck at a certain stage of the admissions funnel. We may want to reach out to these students to encourage them to complete requirements for enrollment. In this example, we will focus on sending a communication to our Pell eligible students who have not completed the assessments required for enrollment. From our main summary page, we can select our students' pending placements for the current application year and use the option to jump to student details for that group. We can see our student details page is now filtered to our selected pending assessment group for the current application year. Let's focus on our Pell eligible students for additional outreach. We want to create a list of students by high school service area for outreach. We can start by selecting the Pell eligible attribute from our chart. Clicking on the block of students who are Pell eligible filters the student details page to our target group of Pell eligible students who are in the pending assessment stage. Now we can use the student details table to identify the individual students for outreach. While the table has the contact information we need, we see the high school service area is available in the filters, but we need to have the list by service area. To add a column for an ad hoc request, we can switch to our Data Explorer mode. In this mode, we can start with the delivered charts and tables and make adjustments to add different data elements. Changes made in the Data Explorer mode do not impact the delivered dashboard but can be saved for the individual user. This powerful tool extends the use of the dashboard to support additional analysis and data requests. We can add the high school service area column so that we have the data we need for outreach. In this scenario, we added a new dimension to our table, which we can view in the hierarchy or flatten out to see the data in the individual rows. We could also use the Data Explorer to add additional measures or to add subtotals by high school service area to create a new analytical report from the detailed table. Back on the summary dashboard, admission staff could focus on those students with an incomplete file for processing. We want to reach out to these students and nudge them to complete their required documents. At the bottom of the summary page application processing section, we can use our incomplete items chart to identify groups of students by their missing items. We notice that many students still need to complete their residency verification and decide to target this group for outreach. The dashboard provides multiple ways to work with this student group. We could select the residence verification bar to drill through to the detail page for our selected group. We can also navigate directly to the incomplete items page to get more information about the missing checklist items for our group of applicants. The incomplete items page focuses on the checklist items and missing documents that the student needs to complete to finish their application process and enroll. To the right of the charts is a table of the students and their IDs and the number of days outstanding for each missing item. We can use the filters or click on the chart categories to focus on students who are missing residency verification. Then we can move to the student details page for further analysis. On the Student Details tab, we can use the contact information to create a communication or campaign directed towards students that may need an additional follow-up. We can use filters across the top to further segment our population. For example, we may need to send different communications based on residency status so that we can specify the types of documents required for each group. After applying the filters, we can work with the student details in the table or export the data for further processing. The analytic dashboard pages also support Drill to Details workflow. We want to use the dashboard to track recent efforts to recruit health sciences majors from local high schools. To view these trends, we navigate to our high school summary page and use the filters to identify students applying to health sciences program from in-district high schools. We can see that applications for the health sciences programs are up 16% for the district, with the biggest gains at South Pima. At West Pima, our applications are up, but our yield has not increased. We can drill to the student details page for the students who have applied from West Pima and use the details for further outreach to encourage the students to complete the admissions process. The events page allows admissions leaders to track the attendance and success of different events while providing the details for event staff to reach out to students that they connect with. Staff can select an event to filter the dashboard view and sort the table by the current status to group the students by application phase. If a student has not yet applied or has not met the requirements for enrollment, staff can use the communication details to reach out to the student to encourage them to complete the next step toward enrollment. With fraud on the rise, particularly with bad actors impersonating online students or taking advantage of open access, admissions analysts face increasing responsibility for fraud detection. Our fraud model uses machine learning to help identify potentially fraudulent applications so staff can focus efforts on suspected cases rather than having to manually review every application. The fraud dashboard helps your institution understand patterns in fraudulent applications and manage potentially fraudulent cases. On the left, we display the factors influencing the fraud probability for the selected group of students and show trends in identified cases over time. In each implementation, we train the model to identify the characteristics relevant to each institution's profile. In this case, we see email domain is one of the top factors influencing the fraud score for these students. The machine learning algorithm identified patterns where certain email domains are commonly associated with potentially fraudulent applications. When viewing the factors that influence the probability of fraud for each student, the red bars indicate that the factor's contribution to the probability score, and the green bars subtract from the probability score. The potentially fraudulent applications list allows staff to investigate these potential fraud cases by various means, including requesting additional verification of identity. I hope these scenarios gave you some ideas of how your admissions team could use the dashboard as part of your admissions process to identify students for outreach and analyze trends to take action with your student data.
Thank you, Heather. We want to leave you with this thought. The best recommendation is from a client. Our solutions have made an important impact for Baldwin Wallace, as you can read from these words from Scott Schultz. We have made an important improvement to their strategic analysis. To get more information and have a detailed discussion on how this solution can help your institution, contact us on our website contact page. Thank you for watching. The next demo in the student lifecycle for our Months to Minutes demo series is financial aid. It is available in the same channel and location where you accessed this recording.